The mantra at Hot Cars is simple. We like cars fast and we like cars fun, and few do fast and fun better than Polaris with their absolutely insane three-wheeled Slingshot. And today we're here on the winding roads outside of Austin, Texas to see what this updated 2023 Slingshot can offer to you, the craziest drivers in the crowd. So if you have never experienced a Slingshot before, let me walk you through the basics, because this whole experience from front to back is just pretty insane. Visually, the Slingshot is a lot to take in. There are so many design elements, they almost couldn't stop designing it. On this R model, we have a vented hood and these vented fenders. And we have these fog light housings that are color matched to the body. And you have this roll bar that's color matched to the body. And you have things like optional Brembo brakes that stick out behind those matte black wheels. The amount of detailing on this thing is crazy. But Polaris says that's what Slingshot buyers want. They want that extroverted driving experience. And this thing absolutely delivers. I mean, you just can't not look at it when you see one drive past you. To that end, I don't think I've ever felt more conspicuous in an automobile than I do driving a Polaris Slingshot with no roof on it. You really can't escape the public gaze, can you? But that's fine, because you buy this for yourself and not for others, even if they get a kick out of it too. And from behind the wheel, this thing is seriously fun. The Slingshot, as you can see, has 3 wheels, 2 in the front that do the steering and 1 in the back that does the accelerating, meaning this thing is rear-wheel drive. The engine is under that clamshell hood. It's a 2-liter 4-cylinder engine that in standard output puts out 178 horsepower, though this is the high-performance R version that kicks that up to 203 horsepower. For perspective, the Slingshot only weighs 1,650 pounds, so as you can imagine, the acceleration is brutal. Power is sent to the rear wheels through a 5-speed transmission. A 5-speed manual is standard, though this test car has the optional auto drive, single clutch automated manual, similar to what you'd find in like an old E46 M3. And then that power goes to the rear wheels via a belt drive and a single-sided swing arm. It's almost like a Snowmobile in that regard. This engine is a real gem. It's original engine developed by Polaris, 2 liters, naturally aspirated, revs to 8.5 grand. It's basically their version of Honda's K20, but developed for a power sports application. It's a real treat. And as you might expect in something this light, it has instant power all the time. Granted, the automatic transmission does slow things down a bit. Having driven the manual right before this is definitely the more fun way to do it. If you consider yourself a real driver, you have to go for the stick. The clutch is nicely weighted, the shifter is tight and has a really positive feedback through the gears, and it really allows you to work that engine to its max. But this automatic is fine. What's funny is that this thing has traction control, even though it doesn't do very much. And yes, you will be spinning that giant 305 section with rear tire all the time once you lay into it. Mercifully, this thing is limited to just 125 miles an hour, which frankly, having gone freeway speeds in this thing, I can't imagine going triple digits. That sounds terrifying. While the back has that single-sided swing arm, the front actually has double wishbone suspension, which means there's a lot of front-end bite. Once this thing takes a set into the corners, it really does handle very nicely. And while after a while you do become acclimated to the experience, you do have to remember that all that power is going through one single rear wheel. This thing will happily do burnouts in donuts and slide around corners if you turn traction control off. Trust me. As far as weekend toys go, this one's pretty full on. It's pretty brutal. You are so exposed to all the elements, especially on this high performance R. With its vented fenders, I can literally see the tires and suspension moving around. And what's crazy is that things like a windscreen are optional extras. Granted, additional optional extras include things like a fixed hardtop or a removable canopy top, but still, if you want a raw driving experience, this is about as connected as you can possibly be. And to be frank, if you get a Slingshot R with the stick, it's about as much fun as you could have on 3 wheels. Because sure, this thing has a base price of 22 grand, and this R with the stick is 34 grand. And that's comparable to Vanderhaal money. But a Vanderhaal is not nearly as fun. They're front wheel drive, automatic only, and more of a cruiser than anything. This thing is all about speed. If you want to haul ass in the twisties, this thing will absolutely do it. I mentioned this thing is fast, and if you're not careful, it will do burnouts. I'm gonna prove it. I'm gonna floor it right now. And we just did a rolling burnout all the way through first gear and banged off the rev limiter. This thing is seriously quick if you want it to be. There are so many unusual facets to this experience because as Polaris has developed the Slingshot over the years, you know, in 2021 they gave it the bespoke engine and the upgraded transmission. And now for 2023, they're rolling in more options to make the interior experience nicer. It's crazy to think that you can get this thing with heated and cooled seats if you'd like. But Polaris says that level of customization, making the Slingshot your own, making sure that no 2 Slingshots are really the same on the road, is a big part of the ownership experience. And I can absolutely respect that. It's cool just how customizable these things are. And it's true, having a dozen of these things parked here for this event, they all look totally different. So even if you aren't driving like a sociopath like I tend to do on a winding road, it's really cool the different ways you can enjoy this. This could be your unhinged date night car if you wanted it to be. Though interestingly, Polaris says 25% of buyers actually daily drive these, and they must be the biggest psychopaths of all to do that. I mean, how batshit crazy do you have to be to try and drive this every single day, as fun as it is? Granted, it does have some practicality. It'll get over 30 miles to the gallon, for example, and there's actually a decent amount of storage in this interior. There's a big glove box and 2 big storage cubbies behind the seats. But you're not exactly going to go do the family Costco run in this thing now, are you? But that's not really what matters. What matters is fun. And as far as fun goes, this is about as fun as you can possibly get, in my opinion. Because it's fast, it's loud, it's engaging, and you are so exposed to the elements. It's such a full-on experience. You can't not be involved or be engaged. Even your passenger, for example, even they're gonna have a good time in this. So if you have about 30 grand kicking around, you're looking for a new weekend toy, sure, a Mazda Miata or a used Porsche Boxster are great solutions, but if you want something different, this certainly ticks a lot of boxes too. I mean, I can't tell you how much fun I've been having driving this thing even at around town speeds, just because it is so full on all the time. The Slingshot has always been an absolutely bonkers vehicle to drive and to look at, and this updated 2023 model is no exception. I still think the 25% of people who buy these as daily drivers are absolutely insane, but the added creature comforts and day-to-day utilities like the heated and cooled seats, this updated infotainment display that has Apple CarPlay connectivity, it is more livable with every day, while not losing any of the hard-edged insanity that encapsulates this experience. And I think that's a good way to wrap things up. This thing is bonkers, and if you buy it, you know exactly what you're getting into just by looking at it, and it's exactly as much fun as you think it is. So my name is Jake. This has been Hot Cars on the 2023 Polaris Slingshot. Thank you very much for watching. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. It helps us out to do more fun car content like this in the future. And now, if you'll excuse me, I'm gonna go keep doing burnouts in this thing. Goodbye.